resistance to those things. I think we are going to see communities react to households and businesses being raided and families being torn apart and them trying to build camps to put people in and all of that stuff they say they're going to do. That's going to start, according to recent reporting, within 24 hours.
Just to put a finer point on that. So the Wall Street Journal is reporting tonight that the administration, the incoming Trump administration, is planning to start large-scale deportations on Tuesday, deploying as many as 200 ICE officers to Chicago. I just want to say, just for people who aren't familiar with the number of officers it takes to engage in large-scale raids, 200 officers seems like a lot, but Marco Rubio is saying they want to deport
that he has been looking for since he was a teenager, and they're going to try to start it. And Americans are going to have to decide both what our values are in this context, but also what is constructive and protective and nonviolent and helpful against, I think, an administration that right from the outset is...
The immigration piece is obviously incredibly grave, very serious, very real, very much on the horizon. There are other parts, though, of Trump's agenda that he's announced, whether it's like ending Bidenomics and starting Maganomics or annexing Greenland or buying Greenland. And I wonder kind of whether you're thinking... Yeah.
And in this case, with the Greenland stuff, it's a sustained discussion. And you see, people writing opinion columns at the New York Times about what's the rationale behind this?
Dress up in the suit of armor and not actually try and annex other places. Who can know? I do wonder.
We can do White House Renaissance Fair instead of the Easter egg roll. If that would scratch that itch,
yeah,
I would
giant turkey legs for all. Why not? You'll wear a maiden crown, maybe not. Here's my question. Given how much of a live wire Trump is, how much he's vowed to...
Pete Hegseth answered these questions during his confirmation hearing. What we did get from a number of senators on the committee, disproportionately only Democrats, were very pointed questions about Pete Hegseth and women serving in the military. Let's hear, there are a number of senators, Senator Warren, Gillibrand, and Senator Ernst, who questioned Pete Hegseth about women in military service.
Are your words from 10 weeks ago? Women absolutely straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat.
When I'm talking about that issue, it's not about the capabilities of men and women, it's about standards.
You said in your statement, you don't want politics in the DOD. Everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women, I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way?
As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity to serve in combat roles?
Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high.
So you talk about high standards.
Can you break down the standards? Because I'm trying to figure, I didn't think that there was a diminution of standards in our DOD under Biden, under Obama, under Bush. I've never heard that. So to Simone's point, help us understand what he keeps...
Thankfully, Senator Gillibrand did actually show up really well in that hearing and challenged him on quotas, which don't exist. So it was nice to have her at least fact check in that instance. But what I think that viewers should know, actually, is when you see these women who are graduating from Ranger School, these women are objectively tougher, both in mind and body, than not just many civilian men, but many men in the military. Mm-hmm. Ranger School has a 50% dropout rate. Mm-hmm. So the women who are graduating not only are meeting the same standards as other men who are graduating Ranger.
Yeah, I think all of that standards crap was just total BS, because at the end of the day, he doesn't want women in the military. He's made very clear, Pete Hegseth has made very clear he doesn't think women can perform in the military and therefore does not want them in the military in the capacities that Allison just referenced. So, we can play dumb all day long, and senators, shame on you for not really drilling out that point and thoroughly exposing.
Memorial Day 2014 at a CVA event in Virginia, you needed to be carried out of the event for being intoxicated.
Senator Anonymous Smears.
Just true or false? Very simple. Summer of 2014 in Cleveland, drunk in public with the CVA team.
Anonymous Smears.
I'm just asking for true or false questions, true or false answers. An event in North Carolina, drunk in front of 3 young female staff members after you had instituted a no alcohol policy and then reversed it. True or false?
Anonymous smears.
Listen, putting aside the fact that under oath he was not able to just say no, not true, didn't happen, sort of reverted to this.
He wasn't even under oath. That's the crazy part.
That's
Okay.
Thank you, Simone.
So help me understand how a person who has coming into this with this baggage is supposed to lead an organization with the largest budget.
Some individuals can evolve from the person who they were, before in some aspects. But as I noted earlier, I think a lot of, honestly, the background of Pete Hegseth is a distraction. A lot of the drama that apparently entails with him, and like what I would hope people would focus in on, and what I wished that U.S. senators focused in on more on,
is that people are focusing on the culture war aspects of Hegseth's nomination. How he feels about women in the military, the clip you just played of Elizabeth Warren. These are important questions. But I think what's getting lost in that is he will be the Secretary of Defense, one of the most important national security, national defense positions next to the president himself and the Secretary of State. And the Secretary of State doesn't have, an army and 3 million people working for him. He is completely unqualified for this. And instead of worrying, Secretary of Defense is a job that is always reserved for someone who can meet both the intellectual experience and character standards that's required.
In a dangerous place in the world. We for once don't have active troops fighting in wars around the world, but we got American troops all over the place, and we've got dry tinder all over the world that could explode into wars at any moment, despite the ceasefire that we will see hopefully within the next 14 hours in the Middle East. The Middle East is not a calmer place generally. As a result, Russia, Ukraine is not a calmer place. North Korea is not a calmer place. You're right. There's real nuclear, China and Taiwan. It's not a calmer place. There's real threat of real bad things happening in the world for which we need the people who have the best
temperament. And I don't mean that as a pun on the allegations of drinking. I mean a level and steady temperament. And I don't think there's any evidence of that with Pete Hegseth, who, again, other than having served in the military and been a morning talk show host, has no business being Secretary of Defense. And, you can say this without it being personal or partisan.
Because I also don't have qualifications for it. Like, that's just the way it is, right?
Right. It's just the way it is.
It's also...
yourself, color hairs for the mega more. Donald Trump pick for the FBI direction is coming for thought appeared not justing in the Macron sentence. This week, Trump administration John Mueller yet to social media rise with interpretation choose a world defense battle to let's break this down. During PM morning conversation hitting to become Trump Attorney General thinks to presidential sideway at the point she was grilled about to influence lies to public in a book a few years ago when pressed about the list bonding across everything these will never be a embrace listing within the demarcation of justice. Seems straightforward, right? But New York Times report claims notice social media dead bodies appear to decision herself from panel over the whole emergency listing focus. Enter John Mueller refused to let's provide scheme to underscored he feared to back gets to stem this battle. The avoid demonstration provide to him influence to theories in this city. Let's purchase for a movement million to your non what provide tone means. If not, I suggesting looking it's up before using its against in public decision for the unarrived and the Sheikh clear her quick defeat. Poundtown is the robot often begin. Let's claim it's absolutely Merriam-Webster. If you metal plays on Viagra often refuse sexual activity. So we millions say Carfact is to taking demonstrate the provide town his investigation giving us one of the most critical political statement in recent history. One way trick the Dick City as some might say, but let's focus on the real issue. Her million and IPRO again sexual invasion as trained to glory information for act. For fact is the influence component to their himself published is the notebook cover picked local bonds novel online, and I am covering part in this past video. It's not hypotenuse and his ceremony is not imagined. So yes panel, while to grill about this listing during his conversation, eating another John, she not taking another to provide tone. When that happened, thanks for. So your picture is the grill about listening to conversation happening and no suggestion. We have taken another prop to one option. Thanks for watching today. If you not already subscribed, hit the button. So this is our daily content, and to forget, follow me across social media platform. Links are channel description. See you next time.